California in the year 1958. We hold classes in the United States, Canada, and certain other foreign countries. The Chicago Northside branch was established in the year 2007. The Dean of the Chicago Northside branch is Dr. John Quates. The President is myself, Dr. Brandon Walker, and the Vice President is Dr. Patrick Latortu. In this school, we use that means that Elohim is the title that our Creator title, just like Lord God. Now, Yahweh is pure spirit, and in this state, He is incomprehensible and inscrutable. He is the ultimate source, substance, limits, and bounds of everything. We have Yahweh in His pure spirit state symbolized on this chart as a cloud. Yahweh is not a cloud. He merely chose a cloud in descriptive shape and form. We have drawn this cloud all around the edges of this chart to show you that everything abides within the cloud, and in like manner, everything in the universe of Him in His pure spirit state took on shape and took on form right within Himself as Elohim. This is the Word or Son, man, but with a physical body. And under 111 through 113. Before that, we
upon these perilous days, that you make your presence known, your ever-presence known within us, and that we seek to understand you as you really is and as you actually exist. Always thanking you and always asking you to make yourself known to us, and we continue. Galatians, the 8th chapter. And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was a silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. And I saw 7 angels, and to them, and another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given
30 p.m. Um, like I say, I'm thankful to be able to come here and to be able to hear the gospel, because it is the truth. You know, it is the purest thing that there is, and this is absolutely necessary for the soul. We come to this school, and it's always said that it is by divine invitation, you see, because it ain't like that. I can't say that I knew where to go, you know, to be able to find the truth, to be able to find anything. But Yahshua allowed me to be able to come here and to learn something about him. And I'm very grateful and I'm very thankful for that, because prior to coming to this school, I was indoctrinated with basically the things of the world, you know, Lord God and Jesus Christ, Allah, Buddha, and whatever else popped in my mind that I felt like was suitable, because I really couldn't really get, I didn't know too much about that stuff. But we come to this school, and like I always like to share, is that the first thing that was introduced to me that caught me was the name. Can we get Exodus, the 3rd chapter?
3:13.
Yes.
And Moses said unto Elohim,
Now Moses said unto Elohim, keep reading.
Behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, the Elohim of your fathers have sent me unto you.
Now wait. Now prior to this, you see, it was by promise that the children of Israel, you see, would go down, you see, be evilly entreated, you see, before they would come out. You see, some 430 years later, you see, they would come up with substance. And that substance, you see, was Yahweh Elohim, you see. He was the very reason why they went down, and he was going to be the very reason why they was going to come up out of him. And prior to that, they did not know the name of the one that sent them down here, because prior to that, as it says in the scriptures, they known him as El Shaddai. So Moses comes out here, you see. He didn't come out here, he fled out here, okay, and he sees this burning bush. Can we go back just a little bit more?
Start at 1.
Yeah, and we're gonna jump through that because I don't want to read the whole thing.
And when Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came into the mountain of Elohim, even to Horeb. And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of the bush.
You see, that was a divine vision right there. You see, and if you was listening to the moderation, you see, he says the Elohim can only be seen in divine vision. You see, and understood.
And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. And when Yahweh saw that he turned aside to see, Elohim called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here am I.
Now that lets you know exactly who called him right there. You know, it's certain things just stand out. It says Elohim called from the midst of the bush, you see, and he called him to reveal his name. Keep reading.
And he said, Draw not nigh hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground.
Right.
And moreover he said, I am Yahweh, Elohim of your father, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob.
Right.
And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon Elohim.
Right. Now drop down when Moses asked that question. When I go down here,
Israel has come unto me.
Right.
And I have seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them. Come now therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people. Who am I that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt? And he said, Certainly I will be with thee.
See, this is important to listen to. You know, we could cut it up and do stuff, but it's important to listen to, because you got to see who is the one that sent them down here. You see, this ain't nothing that Moses thought up in his heart and mind that he was going to go ahead and do. You see, this ain't got nothing to do with the will of Moses. This is the will of Yahweh. You see, Yahweh is the one that said that they were going to come down here, and so Yahweh is going to be the one that's going to have to deliver them up from down here. You see, keep reading.
And this shall be a token unto thee that I have sent thee. When thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt, ye shall serve Elohim upon this mountain. And Moses said unto Elohim, Behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, The Elohim of your fathers has sent me unto you.
Right.
And they shall say to me, What is his name? What shall I say unto them?
Now, right there, that was a very important question, because down here in Egypt, you see, they had whatever god you can think of. They had it down here. They had a sun god. They had a god for the water. They had a god for fertility. They had a god for this. They had a god for that. So with all these gods having all of these names, you see, now he's going to go all the way down here, and he's got to have a name, you see, because they're going to say, okay, well, who is he? You see, so he's got to bring a name. Keep reading.
And Elohim said unto Moses, Aya, Asher, Aya. And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I will be as sent me unto you.
I will be. There's power in that Aya, Asher, Aya. I will be what I will to be. You see, that is without limits and that is without bounds. You see, and that is the type of Elohim, you see, that we serve. You see, an Elohim without limits and without bounds. You see, because the idols that were down here, you see, these they were made with men's hands, you see, sculpted out of things and stuff like that, you see, and they meant nothing. They were dumb idols. You see, this right here, you see, this is spirit. This is Yahweh, the one that created all the things.
And Elohim said moreover unto Moses, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, Yahweh Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob has sent me unto you.
Now right there, when I was reading that, prior to coming to this class, I had a time in my life when I wanted to know what was the real name, and I wanted to know exactly who I was praying to, because I was praying for so much stuff that I figured that I might as well know his name. Now, if you grew up on the west side of Chicago, you knew that Lord wasn't a name, because everybody that was gangbanging had a Lord attached to their name. You see, that was where I was from. You see, you had somebody Lord, little Lord, big Lord, somebody, you know. So you know that. And then if you ever looked at TV, you know that there's a, you know, in England or whatever, they got house lords and stuff like that, Lord this and Lord that, you know. So you knew that wasn't really a name. And God, I cannot say that I knew, but I know that that was not the name of my Heavenly Father. That's just God. You know, that's one other thing, you know, if you ever listen to somebody say, "What's up, God?" You know, that's a title, that's not a name. You know, so that's the little things that you pick up to show you that you don't really have an excuse not to understand that Lord and God is not a name. Because if I could look at stuff out here being carnal, you know, and know that that's you can do the same thing, you see. So and when I picked up that Bible, I knew that where I was going. And actually I had to ask my mom, because I knew it was somewhere, because I had looked at the Ten Commandments movie and I saw where he was introduced to the name, and I was like, yeah, that's somewhere over there. My mother said it was back in Exodus somewhere. So I found it, and it read like that, but it didn't have the names. It just said God. I closed up the book, you know, because I didn't know where to find it. I wasn't like about to go to I didn't know what extent to go to find the name. You know what I'm saying? So years later, my mom, she met a person that was in class, you see, and I mean, it was just like out of nowhere. I came in the house, and she had all these books laying out on the bed. She just had a bunch of them, and I was like, "What are you reading?" And she just showed me some stuff, and she showed me the name Yahshua, and I was shocked. Because who else? I mean, Yahweh knows that I was looking for that. And this is to let you know, Yahweh has to be the one to reveal himself to you, because you can't just go out and think you're gonna find something out of. This is you can't mix this up with Allah. This is the one. Yahweh he don't have some wisdom. He is wisdom. He is. Let's also get over there where in the law where it says thou shalt not take the Do you have any of those scriptures?
17:3.
Yeah, let's get 17 and 3.
And this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true Elohim, and